Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have the smart car coming back for reasons, I suppose. Now this is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com, specifically Adrian Piano, who's a writer over there. And they say, quote, "The smart car for 2 is coming back with a new name. Yes, number 2. Yes, number 2." Which, yes, that is how they wrote it word for word. Now they say it will be designed by Mercedes and made in China. And here you can see the previous version, which was a comically mostly useless vehicle. The only people who really bought them, which again, they had piss poor fuel economy, and you couldn't really fit anything in them, perhaps one average American. And yeah, they're basically used for people who live in hellholes known as cities. That's usually where people purchase them. Which again, always thought it was comical that cars that would be bigger still have a traditional combustion engine and get a lot better fuel economy, be a lot safer, a lot more comfortable. But again, a couple of people did buy those cars. Now, again, this is credited to Adrian over at Motor1.com. He says, quote, "Smart has been a car company we grew up with for quite some time. Back in 2019, Mercedes and Geely set up a 50-50 joint venture to co-manage the Mini Rival. Production also shifted to China, where Hambach plant in France was sold to Linos, which now builds a Grenadier off-roader and pickup there. Today's Smart Badge models are far longer and heavier, topping out at number 5 in mid-size SUV that scales 5,401 pounds and stretches 182.5 inches. Now, Smart is taking a page out of the old playbook by reviving the car most of us associated with the brand, the 4.2. Rebranded as number 2, the all-new city car will mark the company's return to the A segment when it will arrive at the end of 2026. It will ride with a new platform designed specifically for the ultra-compact cars and new design penned by Mercedes. Like its larger stablemates, number 2 will be built in China, which, geez, we soon name this monstrosity. There's no word on the US launch, probably because they'll only sell 18, where the name has had an unfortunate connotation, because it's trash. They also weren't that reliable either. It says small, did not have good fuel economy, was not that safe. I mean, it was great for the 5 people who want them in cities, or as I pejoratively call them, shitties. Now, they say that Smart calls itself the inventor of the original city car, which, not really. BMW did that 40 years earlier. They had a 3-wheeler, which is equally as comically sized, nevertheless. And they say that the new model will once again be a pint-sized 2-seater to tackle the urban jungle, which also, we look at kind of shifting culturally where people live. United States, a lot of people are moving away from cities. So maybe that's also why they're not coming here yet. They say that shadowy teasers hint that the Smart will keep as much as a quirky silhouette of the earlier 4.2s, though the new car appears to be more angular, dropping in the middle and more rounded surfaces than its predecessors. Unlike some of Smart's other models, which still offer combustion engines, number 2 will be purely electric. Without a bespoke platform, engineers will likely carve out a roomier cabin without compromising the car's tiny footprint. They say in Europe, most automakers have abandoned the A segment. The Volkswagen e-Up and its Skoda and Seat siblings are long gone. However, the VW plans to launch the ID.1 next year, but the concept measuring 152.7 inches or 3,880 millimeters, which this is America. We only know, millimeters is only known for one thing in America, 9mm. Great cartridge. Made by Gaylord, Mr. Gaylord Luger. Fun fact of the day. Yeah, anything beyond 9mm in terms of standard measurement, we just don't use. We know 9mm though. We know that. And 40mm for the Grenade. But nevertheless, they say production will be considerably larger than both the e-Up and the Smart 2. Now you can see some of the teasers here. I was going to say if you want. I don't know how many people do. Looks comical. I'll give them that much. Now, Motor1.com claims, quote, it's refreshing to see a new car in today's industry dominated by car bloat. With battery tech having advanced significantly since the old electric Smart, the new model will easily beat the EQ for 2's modest 74 to 84 miles of range. Expect the wheels to be pushed to the corners once again, giving the car a long wheelbase relative to the size and allowing room for a chunkier battery. Price remains the main question. The VW ID.1 is expected to start around 20,000 euros. If the Smart number 2 ends up costing significantly more, its charm alone may not be enough to pull buyers away from a more practical 5-door hatchback like VW's upcoming entry-level EV. They say that Renault is also bringing back the Twingo in 2026, a small EV, even cheaper at under 20,000 pounds, pesos, euros. Where funny money they use these days. Which, again, there's a market for these vehicles. They're smart. Europe is where more of them will be sold. But again, at the end of the day, again, they're already going to be made in China. I can't but think BYD, the big automotive conglomerate in China, or as Trump would say, China, which, let's be honest, when you see China in print, don't you hear his name, for better or worse? But yeah, in terms of having a mass adoption in the United States, I don't see that happening anytime soon. They might enter the market here towards the very end as their last priority. Because again, the United States is laxing their regulations in terms of they're not forcing us to buy EVs anymore, thank God. And I mean, that's why other countries are adopting EVs. Governments are forcing them to make it. So this might succeed a little bit, but I just don't. It's small, not practical. And if you live in a city, I thought, especially in Europe, they brag about, ooh, our magical trains are so convenient and all that kind of crap. I mean, Europe is known for, the city transits. Or, fascinatingly enough, well, for certain political changes, their public transits weren't total crap in terms of, on the floor like San Francisco, where literally is crappy. So, Europe prides itself with all the public transportation. No, I mean, who is this really for? Again, I'm very skeptical. I don't think Mercedes will actually make a profit on this. I think it's more of a boondoggle just to appease their overlords of the European Union to say, hey, we're making more EVs. Please, for the love of God, stop beating us up and stopping the production of our most successful vehicles. But that's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but inflation's got to be 3 cents. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say.